Hello and welcome to Sports 360, your weekly dose of all big sporting events across the globe. India and New Zealand would be immense pressure after they lost to Pakistan. Now they meet on a Sunday for a Super Tail clash, which would in a way be an extremely important match for both the sides, as they would like to keep their semis hope alive. Ahmedabad and Lucknow will be the two new teams in the Indian Premier League. RPSG Group picked up Lucknow as their home base with a winning bid of rupees 7,090 crores, while CVC Capital Partners have opted for Ahmedabad with a bid of rupees 5,625 crores. Bayern Munich suffered their biggest defeat since 1978 as they were thrashed at the Borussia Mönchengladbach in German Cup second round. And in League Cup, holders Man City were knocked out of the competition on penalties. Meanwhile, Liverpool beat Preston 2-0 away and Tottenham won against Burnley to qualify for the quarterfinals. And apart from this, we also have our regular segments, Goal of the Week, Player of the Week and the Sporting Moments of the Week. But first up, the cause story you are tracking this week. India's cricketers face one of their biggest tests in recent times when they take on New Zealand with their T20 World Cup hopes on the line. Another loss in their second match against the Kiwis will all but end their hopes of going through the semis. Opener Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul will be looking to bounce back after failing against Pakistan, but they face a challenge in Kiwi pace duo of Trent Boult and Tim Southee. Here in Sports 360, we take a look at the 5 key battles ahead of the marquee clash. Rohit Sharma versus Trent Boult. Trent Boult has been the key player for New Zealand in the games. The left-arm pacer had troubled India's batting lineup in the past, most famously in 2019 World Cup semi-final, when he bagged VIRAT Kohli's wicket while taking 5 wickets in the ICC World Test Championship final earlier this year. Boult, who plays for Mumbai Indians, knows a lot about the strengths and weakness of the IPL teammate Rohit Sharma. Rohit may have a slight weakness against the left-arm pacer, but having played a lot against Boult in nets in the IPL last 2 years, he will be confident of tackling the Kiwi fast bowler. KL Rahul versus Tim Southee. KL Rahul will be looking to make up for his early dismissal against Pakistan with a big score against New Zealand. Rahul came into the T20 World Cup on the back of a superb showing in the second leg of the IPL 2021 in UAE. He will also take confidence from the fact that he did well in the 5-match series in the New Zealand last year when he scored 224 runs in 5 games at a strike rate of 144. Southee will look to make the new ball count and draw into Rahul into playing a loose shot away from his body. And the third one, Virat Kohli versus SODHI. Virat Kohli played a vital knock in the opening game against Pakistan, the half-century to rally India after a poor start. Kohli has a slight weakness against the leg spinners. Hence, New Zealand will look to SODHI to attack him early on. And another key matchup here, MOHAMMED versus KANE Williamson. Shami may have had a rare off day last Sunday, but the fast bowler to make amends against the Kiwis. He was one of the top bowlers in the IPL 2021 with 19 wickets at an economy rate of 7.50 and will certainly eye KANE Williamson's wicket. The Kiwis rely big time on their skipper to lead their batting against a tough bowling side like India. Williamson's record against India in T20s is not encouraging, with 325 runs from 11 games at an average of under 30. And finally, Indian spinner versus New Zealand middle order. Varun Chakravarti and Ravindra Jadeja struggled to make an impression with the ball against Pakistan. The New Zealand middle order, including Devon Conway, Glenn Phillips, Tim Seifert and James Nisham, could struggle against the Indian spinners. India could also bring in Ravichandran Ashwin in the mix, with New Zealand batsmen traditionally not great against spin. So these were the matchups between India versus New Zealand marquee clash. Meanwhile, Hardik Pandya's bowling fitness appears to be biggest talking point in the Indian cricket right now, and there are reasons for that. For a proud cricketing nation that has produced some of the greatest batters, bowlers over the years, India have significantly lacked the seam bowling all-rounder department after the Kapil Dev era until the emergence of Hardik Pandya. Pandya did not bowl in the entire Australia tour in 2020-21 and the second leg of the IPL 2021. His bowling credentials were only in the Sri Lanka tour in between. More in this report.
28 years old Hardik Pandya has resumed bowling in practice sessions ahead of India versus New Zealand match in the ongoing T20 Cricket World Cup. However, the cricket fraternity is off late witnessing a lot of questions that are looming over Hardik Pandya's bowling performance and his fitness. In India's T20 opening match against Team Pakistan as well, Hardik Pandya struggled to 11 off 8 balls and further sustained a shoulder injury. If you look at the stats, Pandya has played 50 T20 international matches and has taken 42 wickets with an economy rate of 8.17. In terms of the Indian Premier League, Hardik Pandya has played 92 matches and has taken 42 wickets with an economy rate of 9.06. However, in the team, for his all-round abilities for the majority of his career, Pandya's bowling has taken a back seat since requiring back surgery in the year 2018. His bowling workloads were steadily increasing during India's tour of Sri Lanka in July, where he bowled 16 overs across 3 ODIs and a T20 international. However, he did not bowl at all for the Mumbai Indians in the second half of the IPL season in Dubai. With Pandya's return to the practice session ahead of the India vs New Zealand T20 Cricket World Cup group stage match, the bowling in the nets is now seen as a step in the right direction for both him and the Indian team, as the India all-rounder looks a step closer to returning to bowling duties at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Sports Desk, DD India.
Now let's take a look at India's squad ahead of the all-important clash against New Zealand in the ICC T20 World Cup. India did not start their campaign as they would have liked to after losing to Pakistan in the opening T20 World Cup game. Few changes from the Team India can make in the playing 11 against New Zealand. Here, India can bring Shardul Thakur in place of Bhuvneshwar Kumar because he is not in the form. And apart from that, the way the questions mark are over the fitness of the Hardik Pandya because he didn't bowl in the recent times, and with the bat also he's not looking good. In that case, Ishan Kishan, who is hitting the ball very nicely, he can replace Hardik Pandya in this 15-member squad, and it's a very crucial match for India. So it's a do or die battle. If India here loses the match, definitely it's very difficult. Other permutation and combination will comes into play. Now let's take a look at the 15-member New Zealand squad. The presence of Kane Williamson in the squad as a skipper will be a biggest advantage for the Kiwis team. Williamson is New Zealand's all-format skipper and has done invariably well to bind the players together. The New Zealand players in the squad like Devon Conway, Kyle Jamieson, Glenn Phillips and few more are good form lately, which is also an advantage for the team. And if you talk about Conway, has been in phenomenal form in the recent times, and Jimmy Nisham is there, and Martin Guptill is there. If you talk Team SODHI can do well for them, and Adam Milne, the express pace of Milne and Trent Bolt could also be helpful for the Kiwis team. All in all, a great match we can witness on Sunday between the two great teams of this era. Ahmedabad and Lucknow are two new members of the Indian Premier League family, as it will now be a 10-team affair from the next season. The bidding took place in Dubai, and it is the RP Sanjeev Goenka Group and CVC Capital Partners who will join the cash-rich league as new owners. Sanjeev Goenka-owned RPSG Group has picked up Lucknow as their home base with a winning bid of rupees 7,090 crores, and CVC Capital has opted for Ahmedabad with a bid of rupees 5,625 crores.
In what will be seen as a watershed moment in the business of cricket, two corporate giants, RP Sanjeev Goenka Group and CVC Capital Partners, have bid a staggering sum of money running over $1.6 billion to buy the two new IPL franchisees. On Monday, at a walk-in bidding event in Dubai, RPSG paid 7,090 crore rupees to buy the Lucknow franchisee, while CVC, a private equity fund, bought the Ahmedabad franchisee for 5,625 crore rupees. The RPSG bid was about 250% more than BCCI's base price of 2,000 crore rupees. The corresponding figure for CVC was 160%. In all, 22 companies had purchased the tender document, but only 9 were eventually present at the walk-in bid event held in Dubai that lasted over 6 hours on Monday. The bids enclosed in a sealed envelope were opened after a lengthy technical evaluation process. The entire process was overseen by the IPL Governing Council as well as the BCCI top brass. This is the second stint in the IPL for RPSG, who earlier ran the Pune-based Rising Pune Super Giants in 2016 and 17, when Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals served a 2-year suspension in the aftermath of the 2013 IPL corruption scandal. The IPL, though, will be the first time CVC run a team as opposed to their traditional strength of investing in and running a sporting league. It is learned that this is the second time CVC were looking to run a team in the IPL, having failed to acquire a stake in the Delhi franchisee in the year 2018, which went to Jindal Southwest. CVC's Ahmedabad home will be the world's largest cricket stadium, the Narendra Modi Stadium, which has a capacity of 132,000 people. Lucknow's home games will be at the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Ekana Cricket Stadium. The new franchisees will participate in IPL from 2022 season onwards, subject to the bidders completing the post-bid formalities as specified in the ITT document. The IPL 2022 season will comprise the 10 teams and will have 74 matches, wherein each team will play 7 home and 7 away matches. Also, the mega auction for the 15th edition of the Indian Premier League will be held later this year in December. Sports Desk, DD India.
Now shifting focus to football, Barcelona have sacked Ronald Koeman as head coach following Barcelona's defeat at Rayo Vallecano. Meanwhile, Barcelona have announced the appointment of SODHI Bojan as the club's entry manager. Former Barcelona and Spain midfielder Xavi Hernandez is widely tipped to take over the position permanently.
Ronald Koeman has been sacked as head coach of Barcelona after 14 months in charge at the Nou Camp. Barca have picked up just 15 points from 10 games in La Liga and have already lost twice in the group stage of the season's Champions League. Koeman's time in charge. They are 9th in the table, 6 points adrift of the joint leaders after losing at Rayo Vallecano. The loss was Barca's third in their past 4 games and it followed defeat by Real Madrid in Sunday's Clasico. The former Netherlands, Everton and Southampton boss could only guide the 5-time European champions to 3rd place in the league last season. The Dutchman has not been helped by the club's significant financial problems, which resulted in Lionel Messi's exit and subsequent move to Paris Saint-Germain in August. Barcelona were unable to spend any money on new signings in the summer. It is the first time since September 1987 that Barca have lost 3 away games in a row without scoring. Koeman won the Copa del Rey at the end of his 4th season, but Barca finished behind Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid in La Liga with their lowest points tally since 2008. The former Netherlands centre-back played for the Spanish club between 1989 and 1995. Helping them to 4 league titles and scoring the winning goal in the year 1992 European Cup final. He was brought back to the club in August 2020 as head coach by former president Josep Maria Bartomeu. Xavi offered the job. Barca could soon have a replacement for Koeman. According to sources, the club's legendary former midfielder and current Al Sadd head coach Xavi has been offered the job. Xavi has an exit clause with the Qatar side, and it is understood that he wants to move to Barcelona, who are prepared to pay the fee needed to secure the 41-year-old. New chief Laporta, however, frequently made it clear the Dutchman was not his appointment. The duo had an uneasy relationship, and Koeman released a statement in September asking to be given time to rebuild after losing Messi and fellow forward Antonio Griezmann in this summer. Rayo loss accelerated Laporta's decision. Laporta had lost faith in Koeman several weeks ago, but he had remained in charge despite a slow start to the season. But after 1-0 loss to Rayo, which came after a 2-1 defeat to Real Madrid in El Clasico at the weekend, Laporta felt that a change was needed immediately. New chief Laporta, however, frequently made it clear the Dutchman was not his appointment. The duo had an uneasy relationship, and Koeman released a statement in September asking to be given time to rebuild after losing Messi and fellow forward Antonio Griezmann in the summer. Sports Desk, DD India.
Liverpool handed Manchester United one of their worst ever Premier League defeat as they beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side 5-0 at Old Trafford. Naby Keita and Diogo Jota gave the Reds an early advantage before Mohamed Salah took centre stage with a fantastic hat-trick. On that note, here is a look at the 5 biggest talking points from the game.
Please mind the gap. The gulf between Liverpool and Manchester United right now was there for all to see today. Right now, one team is challenging on all fronts and one team is laid on its front. It was brilliant, it was emphatic, it was vintage Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's side absolutely dismantled their biggest rivals. Liverpool went on to put an absolute show at their biggest rivals' home. The Reds scored 4 first-half goals to put United out of their misery and the game to bed. With Klopp's men now just 1 point off the top, putting up performances like that week in and week out, this was a statement of intent as good as it could get. Give him what he wants. Mohamed Salah is the best player in the world. When you have the best player in the world, then you need to reward him as the best player in the world. The performances and numbers Mohamed Salah is producing is one of the highest level. When you are at the highest level of your occupation, you get the highest wage. Give Mohamed Salah whatever he has asked for because he deserves every penny. Keita silences the doubters. After the midweek performance against Atletico Madrid, Naby Keita came under scrutiny. He was pretty much scapegoated in what was a poor performance from the whole team defensively. Against Manchester United, the Guinean midfielder came out with a point to prove and he certainly proved it. He was involved in all 4 first-half goals and was the player to start the scoring off. Keita was all over the place around the United defence. They didn't know where he was half the time. The Manchester United players stood off Keita like they had listened to a Boris Johnson press conference instead of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactical setup. Best Liverpool team ever? We have some amazing Liverpool teams in the past. Bill Shankly's triple title winning team, Bob Paisley's 6-time title and triple European champions, Gerard Houlier's 5-trophy winning team, all incredible teams, but is Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool better? Well, it's getting there. It's certainly the best team during the Premier League era. It's full of world-class talent all over the pitch to go with the world-class management. The levels that it is currently playing at is one of the best the club has ever seen. It's exhilarating, it's direct, it's pure. Already with a Premier League title and a Champions League to their name, this Liverpool team is on its way for legendary status in the club's history. In terms of being the best team ever, it does need to win more. What Paisley's and Shankly's teams did was special. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool can reciprocate. Sports Desk, TD India.
West Ham ousted Man City as Liverpool seal routine win over Preston. More updates from the English football in this EFL roundup.
Holders Manchester City were knocked out of the EFL Cup after West Ham United won 5-3 on penalties in front of an ecstatic sellout crowd at London Stadium. The 4th round tie had ended goalless after 90 minutes before said Ben Herma scored the decisive spot kick. Phil Foden fired his penalty wide to give the Hammers the advantage in the shootout. It is for the first time since 2016, City, who had won the competition for the past 4 years, have been eliminated. Pep Guardiola made 9 changes to the side, but City finished the 90 minutes with substitutes Foden, Gabriel Jesus and Jack Grealish on the pitch as they searched for a winner in normal time. Second half goals from Takumi Minamino and Divock Origi secured Liverpool's place in the EFL Cup quarter-finals. Japanese striker Minamino, who scored twice in his side's 3-0 win over Norwich City in the previous round, finished neatly from Neco Williams' cross to end the championship outfit's stubborn resistance after 62 minutes. Origi, who had also netted in the previous round, then produced a brilliant improvised finish with his heel to put the result beyond doubt with 6 minutes remaining. Jurgen Klopp named an entirely different Liverpool side to the one which thrashed Manchester United 5-0 on Sunday, and despite dominating position for long periods, it was Preston who fashioned the best first-half opportunities. Leicester edged Brighton on penalties to reach the EFL Cup quarter-finals after an entertaining game finished 2-2 at the home stadium. Neil Maupay's penalty hit the crossbar and Enoch Maupay's effort was saved by Danny Ward to send the Foxes through. Harvey Barnes had opened the scoring early on before a dramatic end to the first half saw 2 goals in added time. Chelsea progressed to the quarter-finals of the EFL Cup as they beat Premier League's rival Southampton on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Reece James scored the decisive spot kicks for the league leaders after Theo Walcott and Will Smallbone failed to find the target, with their efforts for the Saints. Both sides rung the changes for the match, with Chelsea bringing in 6 different players from their 7-0 Premier League win over Norwich at the weekend, while 9 players came in for the visitors. The hosts settled better into the rhythm and took the lead a minute before half-time when Kai Havertz headed home his 3rd goal of the season from a corner. However, Southampton responded 2 minutes after the restart when Che Adams tapped in from close range after Kepa spilled Kyle Walker's shot. Sports Desk, DD India.
Mohamed Salah took centre stage at Old Trafford to take his tally of the season to 15 goals in 12 appearances and become the top scoring African player in Premier League history. In the process, Salah completed the hat-trick with another cool finish 5 minutes into the second half, and he is Sports 360 Player of the Week. Divock Origi scored stunning backheel volley for Liverpool, and Origi's goal at the 84th minute of the match was the second strike for the visitors as they cruised to a 0-2 victory at the end of the match. And this is Sports 360 Goal of the Week. The head of FIFA's technical advisory group, Jill Ellis, believes the chance to have a biennial World Cup for women is a billion-dollar opportunity to become self-sustaining and less reliant on the men's football. Ellis knows all about the World Cups and winning them, having guided United States to glory in 2015 and 19 before leaving. She is now heading the technical advisory group set up to decide, among other issues, whether doubling the frequency of the World Cup from their current 4-year cycle is a good idea. More in this report.
Former World Cup winning coach Jill Ellis, who is now working in an advisory role for FIFA and revamping the global soccer calendar, says not enough teams play at the Olympics for it to properly showcase the women's side of the sport. On Saturday, the International Olympic Committee said it wants to have more discussions over controversial plans by the World Soccer's governing body to hold the World Cup every 2 years instead of every 4.
I look at that and say, I think I've already spoken to the fact that, we've had our World Cup final went head to head with 2 other Confederation finals on the men's side and came out ahead in the rankings. If it's not in the same calendar period, like June, July, I think we have enough, and we have to believe and trust that we have enough in our sport that we can have a big piece of the pie, that we don't have to sit in the corner. It's really about the lens you look through.
It added that the concerns related to the impact a World Cup every 2 years could have on other sports, players' welfare, and an increase of men's events impacting gender equality. Although the IOC's statement did not reference the potential impact on its own football competition, Ellis said more global exposure was needed for female footballers, and a 12-team Olympic tournament did not do that.
I look through the position of being a player and a coach that wants to see this go bigger. So I would say having more is sometimes you say more is less, but I actually think on this occasion, more access to every little girl to play this game, more visibility for our players to have a voice and get what they deserve. I don't see that as a negative. And as it relates to the Olympics, again, I've sort of said, when you don't have some of the best teams in the world there, I think that's not showcasing our sport to the level I think it could. And again, I'm not a political animal. I love the Olympics. I just think it's very, very limited in how many teams can access that tournament in terms of getting into it.
An IOC statement said that FIFA's proposals are set to be voted on in December by the 211 member associations of global soccer's governing body. But the plan has met with fierce criticism from a number of continental and national federations, players' groups, as well as fans. Sports Desk, DD India.
That's all in this edition of Sports 360. Before we wrap up, we leave you with the countdown images of the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. Namaskar.